every single thing is a business at some level. And there's somebody or some people behind that business that are successful. And so it doesn't really matter what the thing is. It matters you have passion for it and you have the drive and the energy to kind of pursue that thing, whatever it is. And so I think, in the first instance, you really have to discover that passion in one form or another.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So welcome to one more episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs break that wall and achieve the first million. And today we have Anthony from London, and we're so happy to have people from United Kingdom in the podcast because most of the people come from US and we want more people from United Kingdom. Anthony, can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, well, my name is Anthony Milewski. I'm an investor, an entrepreneur, and I love creating companies. And I'm happy today to share with you some of the things that I've incorporated and do as I go through life.
Yeah, Anthony, but you don't become an investor overnight. So what happened? How you become an investor? Before you own a business, or do you have an inspiration for your family, your friend? How this has happened that you're an investor? Because this doesn't happen overnight.
I think it requires, really having a passion for something, and then being successful at that thing. And that could be anything. I mean, it could be, when you look and think about every single job, every single person you interact with, what the person that owns the garbage company is incredibly wealthy, right? Like, Elon Musk has Tesla. I mean, whenever you kind of look around, every single thing is a business at some level. And there's somebody or some people behind that business that are successful. And so it doesn't really matter what the thing is. It matters you have passion for it and you have the drive and the energy to kind of pursue that thing, whatever it is. And so I think, in the first instance, you really have to discover that passion in one form or another.
So tell us about your story. What was your first passion? How you end up in this business world in the first place?
It's a funny story. I was in graduate school and I was really interested in the former Soviet Union, and I got a job in London. And at the time, all these businesses in Russia were listing on the London Stock Exchange.
Wow.
And yeah, and that was just the time. It was after the Soviet Union, and I had studied Russian at university, and I didn't speak it very well at the time. And they said, well, hey, do you want to work on these files out of Russia? So I moved to Moscow for the office of the firm, and I began working on all these IPOs and M&A transactions for commodities companies that were listed on the London exchange.
Wow. And then, Anthony, do you speak Russian?
I mean, I
in the university you study there, is English or Russian?
I lived there for a number of years. So I speak Russian, but so it just was by chance because at that time it was a bull market and it was really interesting. I was young. It was my first job. I thought, all right, well, let's just take a chance. And that chance was like this sort of kickoff to everything.
Yeah, I was born in Cuba, yeah? So sometimes the people ask me, Harry, where are you from? I always tell them Russia, because in Cuba, everything was from Russia. Everything, the tables, the buildings, the food. Some people even told me that there are some parts in Cuba that the buildings and the architecture, it looks like you're actually in Russia, right? Because they have, it was communist, Cuba's still communist, right? So they did a lot of trade back in the day. Yeah, so I got a degree in chemical engineering, right? And I remember everything came from Russia, all the things from my university and things for that. Yeah. So let me. So in your early age, right? You are discovering, right, that what the benefit to being investors are, right? Because being a good investor basically is to put the money to work for you, right? Rather than you go and work for money, you put the money to work for you, right? So, and once you get that right, It's amazing, right? So when was your first stage that that you say, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
putting
when I
this
bought my
and he's
first.
producing this and how come this money is working for me? And now if I want, I don't need to work. The money goes and do the job for me and doesn't get tired 24/7. If I want to make more and amplify. So when do you have the first stage of this investor life?
Yeah, I think I was about 10 years old, and my
10
sister
years old?
was 8,
Wow.
and we lived by a golf course. And we would go and buy soda and sell soda. But here's the funny thing. We were selling cans of soda for 75 cents a can, except that we had this great idea that we wouldn't make change. So, so, so you either had to have exact change or you had to pay $1. So, and what we would do is in the winter, when it was cold, they would drain the ponds. We would go in and we'd collect golf balls out of the ponds. So we would sell golf balls in egg cartons, and then we would sell soda, but we wouldn't make change. And so I think that was really my first experience as an entrepreneur. And then from there, it just kind of continued on.
Wow, that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
Anthony, where do you think this inspiration come? There is anybody family in your family an entrepreneur, or family friends, or you read a book, or you saw a TV show, or
I think in
what
the
happened?
earliest instance, it was just because, we lived in a little bit of a different time. There were no tiger parents back then. I think my sister and I just thought it would be fun and we wanted to do it and we wanted to make some money. And I think we had the freedom to do that. And I think that sort of kicked everything off. There wasn't anyone hovering over us. We just wanted to make some money to be able to kind of.
What happened when your parents find out that you guys are making extra money and now you can buy all the candy you want and all the sugar you want? Did they were supportive of the idea, or they didn't like so much the idea that you guys were there making a little bit money by yourself?
No, I think they liked it. I mean, I don't even know if we ever told them until a long time later. We ever just kind of went out and did it. When we were younger, we did all kinds of crazy stuff. We went and yeah, I could think of lots of things, but I think, that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. It's a little bit of a personality as well,
Mm,
because there's much more financial risk associated with it
mm.
than, say, going to work at Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, which has its own set of risks. But if you're a lawyer or an engineer, that paycheck is probably going to come every week or every 2 weeks. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't really know in the early days where that next check's going to come from. And,
Absolutely.
and if that doesn't suit you, it's really hard. It doesn't matter how smart you are or how driven you are. If you can't manage that stress and that kind of mentality, I think it's really easy to fail. And that's something to kind of understand about yourself.
But it's very important, Anthony. I'm glad that you shared this about your parents, right? That, you were doing your thing and, they were okay with it and, going along. I know some people here in London, right, that they have different experience that they have, they started as a kid, they start to make money selling eggs or something like this. And then the parents find out, they make a big scene. Why are you doing making money? Blah blah blah. And then they go to the school and make a big scene. Why are you buying things for my kid? You should be ashamed, teachers and whatever. And actually, my friend, she's an entrepreneur, and still, this has affected deeply in her career as an entrepreneur, right? That from the early age that she wanted to do something, but now you have, I think that she was selling eggs, right? And the grandpa was Jewish, yeah, and he was selling emerald, right? And then my friend said to the grandpa, "Grandpa, I want this emerald to buy." And the grandpa said, "You really want to buy them? Okay, I'm gonna give you a hen." And the hen is gonna put eggs. You sell the eggs, you will buy all the emeralds you want. And with 8 years old, my friend is like crazy about the hen and making money to get the present for the grandpa, whatever. So she started to have at the end 8 hens, and she make everybody in the school, they teach everybody who's buying the eggs. And she told me I had my pillow Harry full of money. And for the hen that my grandpa gave me one, and then this I have more, and they have like 8 hens, and my eggs were amazing. And what happened? The mom find out and make a big scene out of it. The mom took all the money, put it in the bank. It was in a Latin American country. It was not in here. So by the time I said, you won't touch this money till you are 18. By the time that the woman take the money 18, the currency was so devaluated that maybe she have like 3,000, or maybe she collect 300. And she make a big scene in the school and everything. And my friend is now, but she has a roller coaster journey with her entrepreneurship, because this is always at the back of the head, right? With this experience. So I'm glad that. So, what message do you have there for being that that actually your parents were okay with it, and they give you this freedom or this support that you guys, if you want to do an entrepreneur thing, and you're the kids and that make you happy, that's okay. So what message do you have for parents out there that they just to don't kill, because I think the most important your parents did, they didn't kill your entrepreneur spirit, yeah, or they didn't make it hard. So what message do you have from people out there that could be in the same situation?
I mean, I think as a parent, you should be fostering whatever your kids' strengths are and interests. And, it's not, like I said, it's not suited for everyone, but I think if you have children that kind of show that interest, you can help develop it. Let them have their lemonade stand or whatever the equivalent is, let them sell something on eBay or Etsy. And I think it's no different than taking them to baseball practice or soccer practice or football, whatever the thing is. I just think it's the same thing. Some kids have different interests, and if they have those interests, you support them in it.
And it's amazing, when you are a kid, when you're a kid, we are not short of money. Yeah, we only need money if our parents give us the money, and this doesn't come for free. You usually need to tidy your room or clean something. It's not like, and now you guys are making a little bit of extra money, and as a kid, how you were feeling like, oh my God, we have an extra money there. At the early age, you have this, and probably that sense. You guys, I don't think you were making that much selling gold, but at least it builds something in your brain, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that experience teaches you about reinvesting in your business. Okay, so now you've got 2 kinds of soda. Well, now you got 3. You got Coke, Diet Coke, and Dr. Pepper. And then, you realize, well, Dr. Pepper doesn't sell at this golf course, so let's try.
Wow, amazing at the early age.
So I think that's some microcosm. Even the smallest business, even the most basic thing, teaches a lot of principles about markets and inventory and cash management.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.